All right. Welcome to Talkin Investing. For those of you who are just joining us, this is take 5. We've been having major technical difficulties. Hopefully we got it right this time. We reset, rebooted, did everything over. So drop in the comments, please, if you can hear us. We should be live. I am Tom. I'm with George. Hello, George.
Hey, how you doing?
Doing good. If everybody could do us a favor with our severe technical difficulties here, if you could help the stream out by smashing the like button. We did get 500 likes on our last live stream. So help us out. It helps the live stream in real time, and this live stream could use all the help it could get. We had to reset and reboot several times, but we are here. It's a very good day for Bitcoin. It's a very good day for the Bitcoin miners, and we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. How's it going, George?
Sorry, it's complicated. It's complicated, Tom.
It's a lot of variables, a lot of moving parts.
And I hear you guys. Colton says, "Please don't talk about CleanSpark. I sold it at $4."
No,
Come on, Colton, are you trying to make me feel good or something, dude?
Well,
are you kidding me?
Hopefully,
why would you even watch this channel? You know what I mean? The video sucks, but who cares? You can hear us. So, can you guys hear us okay? Because you don't need to look at us. You just need to hear us. Yeah, so the video sucks, Tom, but they can hear us. And since nobody heard me last time, listen to this.
Rock
you
and
ready?
roll. Go ahead.
Who said, if you guys were members yesterday, I said we should all buy HUT because you know what? Well, I didn't say it was undervalued, but I said you know it's going to pop. And guess what happens the next day?
HUT's up 19% today. I think that's in first place. We'll go through the big board. This is something new for us. Oh, and it does say, so if pardon our video, if the video is, I don't know what is going on. I am hardwired to the router, but something's going on today. George thinks they're suppressing the stream because Bitcoin's on fire. The Bitcoin miners are on fire, and they're not letting us get the word out.
And guys, just so you know, don't feel bad for me. I have killed it since this hasn't been going on. I have just been sitting here making money hand over fist. It's been awesome.
How many trades have you made
I made 6 trades now since we were supposed to start this until now.
Yeah, we're 20 minutes into technical difficulties here, but hopefully it says open.
I mean, I don't know if you guys noticed this, but Marathon is like just in this perfect range that you can get in and get out, and it's just been like, I just feel guilty. Honestly, I feel guilty.
Let's see. Marathon's up 13.7% right now. We'll do a quick rundown of the big board. First of all, hello to all the members. Hello to everybody. I see a lot of members. Just going to shout out a few people real quick here. Audible, Coast, Old Jock, Justin, Midway, Sour Melon Gaming, Darren, Alex, JJT, Guru, if I mispronounced that, Tishy Wishy, CleanSpark 200, everybody else, welcome, and welcome everyone else to the stream. Also, if you could smash the like button.
If you guys remember yesterday, I deployed all my money during the stream, guys, yesterday. Every single one of them. And you know what those guys did? They went out and worked hard today and brought it all home to daddy. Sorry.
Yeah, during the members-only live stream, you basically put all your money back in the market. Is that true?
Yeah, that was true. And it's just been, I just cannot believe how many days in a row that we've just killed it. I know you guys had to kill it.
So this is what happened yesterday. Just to take a look, I took a screenshot of yesterday's big board. I don't know if you guys can see this, but everything was red. This was red from top to bottom. Of the big miners, Marathon was down 5.7%, Riot down 3%, CleanSpark was only down less than 1%, Bitfarms 2%, Cypher 10%, Wolf 8%, on and on. Everything was red yesterday. So after hours, George redeployed all his capital. For those of you who are new to the channel, I'm mostly a buy and hold. I average in, on opportunistically, I guess is how I would say it. George has done a lot of trading lately, and it's been going very well. Obviously, after that red day, deploying all your capital, here we have a green day. I'm just going to run down some of these, and we are still in the trading day. This is the first time we've ever done a live stream during the trading day. So thank you guys for joining us. And so Marathon's up 13.7%, Riot's up 13%, Cleanspark just under 13%, Bitfarms is up just under 16%, Cypher 13, Wolf 12, Iris Energy 18.5, Bitdeer 10, Hut just under 19, Hive just under 18. The lagger on the day is Core Scientific. For those of you following this channel, you'll know I've been saying for months and months, I just thought it was going to be real hard to get a read on Core Scientific coming out of Chapter 11. This is extremely typical, so that stock has lagged the field in a big way. But there's also warrants, a couple of different warrants, and so, if you made the conversion, it's hard to kind of follow along. But that is the lagger on the day. Well, I should say Mawson is actually in the red. So Mawson is down 4.6%. So that is red on what is a phenomenal day for Bitcoin and, a really good day for the Bitcoin miners. Three is struggling a little bit. MicroStrategy's up almost 12%. MicroStrategy has been on fire. I will tell you, that's one that I was worried about. I talked about that. I thought maybe the ETFs were going to steal investors from MicroStrategy. I did not think they were going to steal investors from the Bitcoin miners. We've talked about that on the channel. But MicroStrategy's on fire. We'll take a look at that chart in a minute. How's it going, George?
Good. I'm still trading. Sorry.
George is trading. See, this is the danger of doing a stream during the market hours.
I'll just finish up this last trade because I'm being too greedy as it is.
While George is doing that, if you guys could do us a gigantic favor and smash the like button. We're at 56 likes. I think this stream needs big help because we had technical difficulties. We had to restart this stream, 4 or 5 times?
And you know what's really funny, guys, is that let's think about this. And I'm not saying this, but
you're not saying, you're just saying.
Could it be because Bitcoin's going to go to the moon that they don't want you guys making money and getting into these Bitcoin miners? I don't know. I'm just saying.
Is it a coincidence that Bitcoin and Bitcoin mining stream is having technical difficulties today?
Tom, I will say.
Decide. You want to put a poll up?
In less than 2 weeks. Hang on a second. In less than 2 weeks, I think I've doubled my account.
Wrong direction. Wrong direction. Not Bitcoin. Bitcoin was doing just fine. The Bitcoin miners were doing their thing. December 27th, they all peaked. And then all of a sudden we had 5.5 weeks of, pretty dramatic pullbacks. But, since then, this has been a massive run to the upside. And I do want to go through some of these charts in specific because there are a few of these companies, their moves are so outsized. It's just amazing. You'd be hard pressed to find these types of moves anywhere else in the market. And this is our whole thing with Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners. It's very, very volatile. We get, spurts like this. So it's one of the reasons I try to hold over long periods of time. And, George is doing the opposite, and he's making a killing trading. I know some of you guys swing trade. I'm sure some of you day trade, options, leap options. There's 1,000 different strategies. So, obviously none of this is financial advice. You guys, everybody needs to know. George and I were having a conversation, we thought with the world, but as it turns out, it was with ourselves because the stream wasn't working. George has a different comfort level in trading, and this day trading thing works for him better than for me. So one of the things is know yourself, know how you invest, know what your comfort zone is.
And also have your exit strategy in mind before, whether it goes up or down.
I don't know if let us know if the stream is still working.
The stream's working. It's just the video is just choppy, Tom. They can hear us fine.
Is it?
It's just the video's just awful.
All right, I'm just looking.
But who cares?
Looks like 100 people just left, so.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess we're just the people that want to make money are staying around.
We'll talk to ourselves if that's what it takes. Or maybe this thing isn't giving me good information.
I can just tell you, man, this is an unbelievable day. My Iris
up 19.49%. Ouch. That was awesome.
That's a
Even
nice move.
Bitfarms didn't let me down. I bought it at 3.0. That's just insane.
Bitfarms is up almost 16%, and it's really had a big breakout. And we've talked a lot. A lot of people are getting very frustrated with Bitfarms, and it feels like it's not moving. But I'm going to go to that chart right now because Bitfarms is moving big time. This is not the chart yet. Let's get to Bitfarms. Clive, thank you very much for the super chat. Clive said, I didn't anticipate HUT making a significant move today. I'm considering exiting my position once it reaches my break-even point. What do you think? I mean, you know, this is where, you know, you got it. What's your level of conviction in what HUT is doing? So your question is, you know, do you want to keep that money? You got three choices. Keep the money in HUT if you think that good things are coming. Take the money out altogether, you at break even and move on, or redeploy it in another miner where you have a higher level of conviction, where you're not going to be asking yourself, you know, nobody can tell anybody what to do. But one thing I would say is if you're asking yourself, you know, is this an investment I should stay in? Do I want to get out at break even? Then it's probably not a company that you have a high level of conviction in. So, you know, only you know the answer to that, but
when do we get the response from HUT of when their quarterlies? Or is it going to be the year-end numbers? What are they going to be?
Yeah, I think that's a calendar year, so I think the next thing we get from them is year-end numbers. I do believe if you guys could smash the like button.
You want a poll, Tom?
Yeah, let's get a poll going.
I did a poll already about Bitcoin pricing on the first thing. It was it ended up being everybody thought it was going over 55,000. Not everybody, but you know what I'm saying, the large percentage of it.
I'm just trying to read a few of these. It's Kevin K said it's working on his iPad, not on his TV. So we're definitely having some technical difficulties for whatever reason. So we're just going to keep plugging away through the technical difficulties. Hopefully this thing straightens itself out. Are we being suppressed?
It's kind of funny.
Let's see. Okay, so let's get back to talking about, we were talking about Bitfarms. So Bitfarms is not quite, but almost back to their highs from December. Most of the Bitcoin miners coming into today had not anywhere from 17% away from their December highs. All the Bitcoin miners hit a high on December 27th, one of them on December 28th. Most of the Bitcoin miners had not gotten back to that level as of yesterday, but you can see this is an extremely green board. And I'm going to go back to Bitcoin for a minute. I mean, we're hovering somewhere around $51,700. This orange line right here, way down here, this is where Bitcoin was when the U.S. equity markets closed yesterday. So this is now only not even one trade. We're 5 minutes away from the U.S. equity markets closing today. So in that time, you know, Bitcoin is up, 4.6%. At its absolute peak, it did get up over 5%. So, 4.5% move. We'll see where it ends on the day. And obviously, this is not the daily candle close. This is just where Bitcoin will be when the equity markets close. And that's why we compare that, obviously, because, that's where the numbers stop for the Bitcoin miners at the end of the day. But I'm seeing all 13s, 14s, 15s. Iris is up almost 20%. HUT's up 19%. I mean, these are gigantic, gigantic moves. I will tell you, I didn't get to fully build out my Iris Energy position. I started to build a position, and it went off to, I was dollar cost averaging in, and I stopped about, 4 days ago, and I'm up 100%. but it's a small, it's a very small position because it was running up so drastically. I'll go to that chart. That, I like to dollar cost average in, but I like to do so. Oh, hold on. I don't want to do this on the 15-minute. We'll leave that here. I like to do so, somewhat opportunistically. And I am going to change a little bit of my strategy. So I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute as well. But if you go to Iris Energy, I mean, I was buying in somewhere in this range right here. And, then we had this, huge gap up. So, you take one day off and then it's a gigantic gap up again. I mean, if you took a couple of days off here, if you go from the bottom, within 3 days, this was up 63%. Now, it would have been great if I kept buying because guess what? After that 63% run up, we're up another almost 40% since then. So, in six or seven trading days, we're up 127% here in Iris Energy. This is a big move. But the thing is, you'll see, like I was talking about, for most of these Bitcoin miners, even after that 127% move to the upside, they are still not back to where they were on December 27, 2023, just a month and a half ago. So a lot of these, while I'm not saying, today's the day to go all in, it's very hard to buy a stock on a day where it's up 27% after a week where it's up 127%. But, maybe waiting for an opportunity, waiting for a little bit of a pullback. It's still not even back to where it was a month and a half ago. So, the run, we are nowhere near the end of this bull market, in my opinion. We haven't really, I don't know that we can say it hasn't started yet. We are over Bitcoin 50,000, right? We've been talking about Bitcoin 50,000 for a long time. And, we are there now and we're past there. So let's see what this poll is. The like button, it does help the stream out in real time. And we are getting on and off. We continuously get warnings here that the internet is not behaving well. This has never happened to one of our streams before. I'm not sure what's going on. So hopefully you guys bear with us. I think the audio is coming through just fine, but the video may be bouncing on and off. Are you still trading, George? It looks like we are 1 minute away from the end of the day here. So let's take a look at Bitcoin.
I didn't get back in.
Close.
I got out after that last trade.
You took your profits
in the course of the
went
time,
away.
Everything happened. I don't know what should I say. I mean, I did okay.
So you had a good, and it was all day trading for you today, and you're completely out of the market.
Yeah, I'm completely out right now.
And
you know why I get out every day, Tom? I'm gonna tell you why.
Yes, please.
I think at any point in time, and I don't mean this to alarm anybody, but I think at any point in time we could have a black swan event. And that's actually one of the reasons why I trade. But you can never predict a black swan event, just so you know.
Right. But here, and here's another thing that George is doing that, George, you might not even know. Technically, day traders, if you are actually day trade, most people swing trade. Most people that think they're day traders are swing trading. A day trader is out of 100% of all of their positions at the end of every single day. That is the technical definition of a day trader. So you, without even knowing it, you've gravitated. That's your natural habitat. But what's funny about George is, go ahead, George.
No, this is going to be crazy what I'm going to tell you. The stream just got better at 4 o'clock, Tom. It's all fixed. There's nothing wrong with the stream now. I'm dead serious.
See? Well, there you go.
Wow. Go ahead. What were you saying? That's how a day trader trades. They're out by the end of the day.
That's the definition of an actual day trader, is that they are out at the end of the day, and then, they've got their strategy for the next day. And there's different kinds of day traders. There's people that trade down to the second and all that kind of stuff. I've never done any of that. But what's funny about you, George, is that on the flip side, with your cryptocurrencies, you're the exact opposite.
Just because they're so expensive to trade. If I could trade Bitcoin, if I could figure out how to get to where I'm not paying this exorbitant amount of fees, dude, I figured out Bitcoin a long time ago.
But it's the fees that are prohibiting you from
Yeah.
getting in and out. So with George, and you're in a handful of cryptocurrencies. You've dollar cost averaged. You've been dollar cost averaging in, and I think you've filled out your position in XRP a long time ago. I mean, I don't think you've made a trade either way for months and months on that one.
The only way I was buying more is if it got below my entry point, which was 30 cents.
Yeah, so
if it gets below 30 cents, then I think it's a good buy. But before, I mean, I just don't have that much of a conviction. I mean, they've made me not believe anymore in XRP.
Are you are you doubting, or are you just on pause?
No, I'm doubting. I don't think XRP's ever gonna do anything, but I'm not selling. You know what I mean?
That's that is a different. I have not heard you say that yet. That's a new.
Yeah, XRP. See, Simon just XRP's dead. The only reason I'm not out of XRP is because I've already doubled my money on XRP, so I don't really care. But if I didn't double my money already, then I would be out. I'm in Solana. Solana's awesome. And I'm in Chainlink. I'm in XLM. I'm in. You guys are gonna laugh. I'm in the. I went back into.
Oh, you're in Chainlink.
Yeah, I went back into, what is it? LUNC. What is that? Luna. I went back into Luna. I went back into.
All right, welcome to Talkin Investing.
I'm in a whole bunch of different ones, but for some of them, I think they're gonna 10 and 20x, especially after the halving. What's the moon forecast? I don't know. I think we're in between cycles right now. But listen, I find it funny. When's the halving gonna happen, Tom? Roughly what date?
We should be about 2 months away, but it does. Nobody can pinpoint the exact date because it depends. We've been. I'll go right here. This is, well, let's start here.
It says 63 days.
Right, so that may be true and it may not be true.
Oh my goodness. This is crazy, Tom, what I'm going to tell you. When you guys pick on me about this stuff of like the moon and stuff like that, we have an eclipse April 16th of this year.
A lunar eclipse.
Yes. No, lunar. Is it a...
I don't know. Usually, well, is it a solar eclipse or a lunar eclipse?
It's a solar eclipse.
All right.
And guess what? Right now they said the halving is April 16th, but Tom was telling me, go ahead, Tom.
We can't pinpoint the halving, and we won't know until it happens. The halving is going to happen at a certain block, but the thing is, what I was just showing you guys, the last time, all these green difficulty adjustments mean every 2 weeks they adjust the difficulty of the network, and they do so based on this. If you look at this, we're almost to the end of the next block cycle. So, this is probably tomorrow we're going to get another adjustment. And it looks like at the moment it's going to be another 7.5% adjustment up, which means we're mining a block every 9.5 minutes. 9.3 minutes. And we're supposed to average 10 minutes per block. And the swings are wild, but typically, they target averaging 10 minutes. When the network gets too big and it's mining Bitcoin faster than that, they adjust the difficulty level and it gets more and more difficult. And you'll see the difficulty level is up. It's up way over 100% in the last 13 months. We're about to get another adjustment. This is why nobody can ever tell you the exact moment of the halving, because as we get through these blocks faster and faster, the halving maybe gets a little closer than we thought, or it could go the other way, right? If next month it's an adjustment downward, but we're somewhere in the neighborhood of 2 months away from the halving. So you can count on, within the margin of error, we're about 2 months away from the halving right now. And we are ahead of previous cycles. We're still within a range you could argue this cycle is acting similar to previous cycles, but this run up that we've had, let's go to the 1-day chart. By the way, George, it is funny. As soon as 4 o'clock hit and the market closed, all the problems with the technical difficulties with the stream disappeared.
This is crazy, guys.
It's wild.
I've been hearing stuff. There's something getting ready to happen with Bitcoin, and with YouTube, and Tom and I haven't really talked about it yet, and I'll tell you about it later. But dude, I didn't think it was true until today. Now I really think it's true.
Coincidence or not, while we were failing at this stream, we had to restart it 5 times. George was basically saying, they're suppressing the stream while the market's open. And sure enough, who knows? I'm not saying, like George likes to say, I'm not saying, I'm just saying. As whether it's a coincidence or not, as soon as 4 o'clock hit.
I think what it is I'm not saying it's true. I just know it to be so.
There you go.
All right.
So if everybody could, on that topic, if everybody could please smash the like button, it would help us out because we did have monumental technical difficulties, whether it was just on our end or on YouTube's end, I don't know, but we really had to struggle to get this stream going. It was 5 takes. George and I were talking to ourselves several times. But we're here. We're up. We're running.
I'm just glad I got out of everything. I'm looking at a little pullback right now. Might be some good entry points coming up here.
Yeah, we got a few red 15. I'm on the 15-minute time frame, but we're still very near. And look, this purple line, it's funny. We ran to this line. We haven't talked about this one time. Bitcoin's moved. I'm going to go to the 1 day. Bitcoin's moved up so far, so fast that for this purple line isn't even anything we talked about. This green line, we've had a green line at $48,240. That green line goes back to March 28th, 2022, just under 2 full years ago. So you can see we candle wicked above this around the launch of the ETF. We actually only candle wicked above this one time. We closed several $1,000s underneath it. And then we had a big full 20% pullback, 21% pullback. Well, we just 2 days ago started running above this line. So this is what so often happens. These lines of resistance, as soon as we cross them,
Talkin investing.
Welcome, Mark. Welcome to the Talkin investing
that
squad.
Long? Were you waiting for another free membership? No, seriously, thanks, buddy.
And also, I just want to get to Barry. Barry's been a member for 17 months, and he left a comment. Thanks, Barry. Thanks for being a member. The 40% of members holding HUT are very happy today. F the begrudgers. Yeah, we had with this. This seems to be a big controversy. Not only
I know we got hammered for freaking talking about HUT, you bastards.
We have certain members that just get very angry when we talk about HUT. But listen, we only follow. There's 19 publicly traded Bitcoin mining companies that we follow on this channel, and really 6 or 7 of them we spend almost no time on at all because they're nano cap stocks. So, of the main Bitcoin miners, we're going to talk about all of them, although it does agitate some people sometimes. But, you cannot please all the people all the time. So we did a poll. Everybody was saying nobody cares about HUT. Nobody cares. Well, the fact was about 40% of our members are actually invested in HUT. So I think they do care. I don't know. Probably a lot of you guys may be as well. We've already had some comments. And by the way, if you happen to be invested in HUT, you crushed it today because it was up just under 20%. And, if this is the 4 o'clock number, sometimes TradingView takes a minute to catch up. But TradingView is saying that, TradingView is saying that Iris Energy was up 19.94% today.
That's insane. That's great to hear.
Just a tiny bit under 20%. And somebody who mentioned this earlier, 1 BIP. Iris Energy was up 19.94%. HUT was up 19.93%.
Oh.
So that is your first and second. That's a photo finish on the day today. That's incredible. But let's round up and call it 2 of the Bitcoin miners up basically 20%, but the list goes on from there. Marathon up over 14%. Riot up over 14%. CleanSpark took a breather. It's up 12%. We're going to look at the CleanSpark chart because CleanSpark has outperformed all of, from a stock standpoint.
Are they more than Riot still? Is their market cap now?
They're with, well, probably not with today's price action. And Riot passed them.
Tom?
Let's take a look. And I'm going to use Yahoo Finance, which is not perfect science here, but let's see what this has
Let's see what they say.
Let's see what they say.
Any idea of a poll?
How did our last poll end?
65%, new all-time high before the 17th of April, which is only 60 days away. By the way, if we get there, Tom, what do you think happens to these Bitcoin miners? None of this financial advice. You guys make up your own decisions what you do with your money. We're just here to tell you what we're going to probably do.
If we run between now and the halving, if we run to a new all-time high, I would expect the Bitcoin miners to continue to outpace Bitcoin. So it really does have a lot to do, especially at this point in the process. This has a lot to do with what Bitcoin does. So if they take that run, you're going to see some pretty vicious moves, in my opinion, to the upside with the Bitcoin miners. But as always, I will tell you, expect wild swings in both directions. There's going to be random days where, all of a sudden Bitcoin may go up or move sideways for a day or two, and then all of a sudden all the Bitcoin miners have big pullbacks. So for me, I have continued because I believe we're, early days of this bull market, despite the fact that we'll look at Bitcoin. I mean, it's up way over 150% off of its lows. But I think we're nowhere near, the peak of this next cycle. So I think there's a lot of room to run for Bitcoin. I think it's going to be all of 2024. I've been saying new all-time high in 2024, and then, or we'll take out our all-time high in 2024, and then we'll have whatever our new all-time high is somewhere in the middle of 2025. And, that's not just a me thing. That's pretty much the consensus of how the 4-year cycle has worked in the past. The one difference is I think we stand a good chance. And this poll just, the poll that we put up, what were the results? Did more people think we were going to take out the all-time high by the halving?
65% said yes.
Okay, so
Higher.
if we do that, that will be the first time ever in Bitcoin's history that we take out the previous all-time high prior to the halving. So, by that measure alone, we will clearly be way ahead of previous cycles. And I think a lot of people underestimated these ETFs. These spot ETFs, they created so much noise and FUD in the days surrounding the approval, right? For 10 years, and more so really for 6 months, we talked and anticipated these Bitcoin spot ETFs, and, they were rejected, deferred, delayed, et cetera, et cetera. And then finally, the very day that everybody expected this to happen, it happened. They approved them all. And to me, that was shocking to me because usually when there's that dramatic consensus around something, right? January 10th was the day. Everybody talked about it for months. Oh, they're going to approve them on January 10th. Now, there was a specific reason. I think it was ARK Invest. They had to, they had to make a call. There was no more deferrals or delays. It was either accept or reject. And so consensus was, you know what? They're going to accept the ARK Invest, and they're not going to be able to play favorites. They were working closely with all of, BlackRock and Fidelity and ARK Invest and Bitwise, and all the rest. They were working, the SEC was working very closely with them to revise and update and get their applications in order. So it did seem to be like all of this was going to happen. There was every reason to believe. I was still skeptical, though. Until it happens, I was skeptical. Well, we got the very thing we wanted, and then immediately it was like bang, bang, bang. Every single day, they gave us a new reason why we should be terrified, why the Bitcoin ETFs are actually a bad thing, not a good thing. In addition to that, first it was the grayscale selling pressure. I want to show you a chart on that in a few minutes, so don't remind me of that. that, first it's Grayscale. Oh, it's going to be 6 months of selling pressure. Grayscale's a disaster. Then it was, Mount Gox. Oh, everything on Mount Gox is immediately going to get liquidated. Then it was Silk Road, and it was just one thing after the next. I'm going to go to the 1 week chart. I mean, they really managed to, they got us. Let's just say they got retail investors. Bitcoin from the peak here, it started to run on January 11th, which was the first day the ETFs could trade. And immediately, the first thing it did was a 21.5% pullback. Now, one thing I will say is we were long overdue. We had been talking on the channel. I mean, we were crazy overdue by pretty much every technical analysis that you could look at. We were overdue for a pullback. Having said that, this was not because of the technicals. This was because of the fear they put into everybody surrounding, it started with the Grayscale ETF. And I'm going to pull up a chart. And Grayscale was liquidating at a pace of about $500 million a day. And that was very scary. And that's what started the fear. And it just ran from there. But you can see we bottomed out. And from the bottom, we pulled back 21%. But guess what? We're up 33% over the last, 3 weeks. And it's accelerating. A lot of that was just a little bit of sideways action, but really this is, from February 7th to February 14th, that's 8 days. In these 8 days, Bitcoin's up. So that's a 20% move to the upside in the last eight trading days for Bitcoin, which is really 5 or 6 trading days for the market because there was a weekend in the middle.
Max, did you hear about that Jesus coin? Sorry, we're just having another conversation, Tom. Just see, I heard they're going after him for charges, by the way. I don't know if it's true or not. Did you tell me that, Tom?
That was not me, no.
Somebody was saying that they were going after him for some type of something. I don't know. And it could be more than one Jesus coin, I'm sure.
Well, we had somebody here several times giving a shout out to a Jesus coin with a super chat. So,
right, yeah. 4 or 5 times.
Yeah, so I don't know. And you tried to look into it, and it did seem like there was more than one coin. It was a little bit difficult to get to the bottom of. Right now, Bitcoin's at 51,600, by the way. We did get to 50. Let's see. Our high was 52,111 according to this chart. I'm on TradingView. This is the Bitcoin Coinbase chart on TradingView. So we did get over 52,000. So I never finished my story, which is that this purple line, which we have, we got there today and we've never even talked about it one time. So I'm just going to go back in time a little bit and you'll see this goes all the way back to December 7th. That is exactly 1 month after Bitcoin's all-time high. So, we had a daily candle wick up on that day. We just missed it on December 24th. We candle wicked above this on December 27th. December 27th, 2021 is the last time we've been at $52,000. So that is over 2 years ago. So you could see we took out this green line. That was March 28th. And you can see that was the last hurrah. We had this one last little push from, down in this, $35,000 range. We ran up to 48,000 one last time. And then it was a crypto winner for the next, basically year and a half. And, now we're finally back to the green line and immediately back here. And then you're going to see that, I'm going to go to the 1 week for a minute. And everything's gone. 1 second. Get back to where we are. So if we go to the 1 week, right? You'll see 69,000 was right here. This was November 8th, 2021. So we are here. And, I've got a million lines on here. But the thing is, there's really, if I take all the nonsense out, you're going to see there really is nothing happening. This little area right here, this was in a straight line. This happened in, from the high 1, 2, 3 weeks. It was 3 weeks from the purple line we're at right now, between the all-time high and the purple line we're at right now, was, light speed on the way down. I'm not suggesting we're going to be back to our all-time high in 3 weeks. But what I am saying is there's really not a lot of natural lines of resistance between here and our all-time high. I will say, though, I do not think we're going to run straight to the all-time high. I think, we have been talking on the channel, so let's do a poll. Who thinks we're getting to 55,000 before we have a pullback? So that's what we've been talking about on the channel. If I go to the 1 day, and if we look, we talked about a couple of things. Back here, this was February 6th, though. I mean, this is not that long ago. So on the 5th and the 6th and the 7th, we were talking about the fact there was a little bit of a convergence happening here on the daily RSI. We had been hitting lower lows, and there were a couple of days where it looked like this was going to break out, but by the end of the day, we had a pullback and we did not get this breakout. So I thought if we could get above this descending line of resistance on the daily RSI, and then above this, I had a yellow line here at 55 on the daily RSI, which we hit on January 29th. So I had basically said on one of the live streams, if we could do all of this, if we could take these out, I think the next move is up, and I think, we could run to 55,000. And, we're not there yet. We did hit 52,000 today. The question is, can we get all the way to 55? Because you're going to see from there, and we were hanging out just about neutral on the daily RSI. Well, we've run all the way up now to 80. So that's where we got, this is almost exactly where we got back on December 5th. And if I pull this down a little, you'll see, oh, sorry, let me get rid of that. On December 5th, this was a part of a big run up that we had. These were 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big green days in a row. That ran us up to here. And then we were kind of overbought. But you can see the daily RSI can get higher than this. In October of 2023, it got up to 88. It's been over 90 at times in the past. So there is more room. I do think we could finish this out. There's enough room left on the upside that we could get to 55. But from there, if we look at between this, we'll just look at a couple of things real quick. The other thing I'm keeping an eye on, yesterday the fear and greed index hit 79. That was extreme greed. That's the first time we've been there in, I don't know, years. We're at 74, which is greed. Now, I'm going to scroll down a little. I might have to go to more than. Okay, so you can see we've been in the 70s before. The high for the year looked like it was 76 back in January. So we did hit 79. That was the all-time high. That was extreme greed. But if I go back further, if you look at the bull markets, I mean, this fear and greed index can get and stay in the 90s. Right? This was in the 90s for a couple of months, and then, it popped down for a minute and got all the way back up. So, and again here in October of 2021 and November, we got into the mid 80s. So, at some point, if we're running up, whether it's to 55 or 58 or whatever the case may be, you're starting to see a lot of things where we're going to be wildly overbought on the daily RSI. If we're, above in the mid 80s on the fear and greed index, all those things to me put together call for at least a short-term correction. And I only say that because that's how Bitcoin works. You know, most of you know, you've got to expect these 20% pullbacks. In the last bull market, we had, I think, 4 or 5 30% pullbacks. In 2023, we had 3 20+% pullbacks. Here in 2024 already, we just looked at a 21% pullback. So, yes, I think we're going to run up to 55. Who knows? Maybe 52 was the top. But I do think we'll have a pullback, and then we'll take the next leg up. I think we stand a really good chance of getting our all-time high prior to the halving, and that would be incredibly bullish.
So I have a question, Tom.
Yes.
Where is the line of support for like the 52-ish area? What is that number, and is it a strong support?
This purple line at 51,981 that I have.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, to me, that's really the last significant line.
Did we get there yet? Did we get there?
We candle wicked above that today.
Oh, okay.
The last time we were there was in December of 2021. So we now hit territory today here in February of 2024 that we have not seen since December of 2021, just 1 month after Bitcoin's all-time high. So you can see how fast these things move, right? It ran down from its all-time high down to this purple line in less than a month. So, like I said, I'm not predicting it'll run back there in less than a month, but you know what? We've got about 2 months between now and the halving. I think it's entirely possible we do the full circle, which is we run up, we finish this, you know, this is a pretty serious run to the upside. We finish this, we have a 20% pullback, and then we take the next run up to back to our all-time high. So let me just...
So that kind of lines up. Okay, so the moon is full on the 24th. So that's 10 days from now.
That's 10 days from now. So
basically up, and then
I'm just trying to get to 55,000.
So that's all of next week. So you got 2 days and then all of next week. That's next Saturday.
So from the bottom on January 23rd, if we get to 55,000, that will be a 42% move to the upside. That's a big move to the upside, but that is not unprecedented. And then from there, let's say, for instance, we get there. From 55,000, you know, if we were to have what would be a 20% pullback, that would be back down to, so here we are at 44,000 would pretty much be our 20% pullback, 19.5%. So 55 down to 44 would be a correction. So, you know, that feels drastic. But this is what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people will sell somewhere along. If that happens, and this is what normally happens, a lot of people somewhere along the way, especially if this takes 3 or 4 or 5 weeks, which happens all the time, a 1 to 2 month sideways period, you know, 20% pullback and then a little bit of sideways consolidation. We can see examples of that throughout Bitcoin's history all the time. And those are the times that people get weeded out of Bitcoin, and the Bitcoin miners are likely to have a rough time if that happens. So there could be a period of grin and bear it between here and the finish line. So, you know, that's understanding all that is how you should pick your trading strategy. As you guys are making your plans, I would count on, you know, what am I going to do if there's a 20% pullback? What am I going to do if it lasts for a month? What am I going to do if it lasts for 2 months? What am I going to do if there's a 30% pullback? All those things. And that doesn't mean that they're all going to happen, but if you don't have a plan for that and it happens, then in all likelihood, in the absence of a plan, 99% of the time, and 87% of statistics are made up, you're gonna panic sell. Right? That's the most likely result. If you don't have a plan and Bitcoin's going down, the Bitcoin miners are going down worse, and you know, in crypto world, in Bitcoin world, 3 weeks feels like forever. I'll tell you, when we just had 20 minutes of trouble with this live stream before it started, that felt like 5 hours. So, you know what I mean? It's like, in the crypto universe, things move fast. Everything moves fast in our modern society. I don't want to sound old, but Midway, thank you very much for the super chat. Midway said in January, Cypher hodled 90% of its Bitcoin to increase their hodl to 1,132. Do you think they're in the process of building a much larger hodl like 2,000? That's a fantastic question, Midway, and your number is my exact target that I think that they are targeting. It looks to me like they shifted gears. There's very few. I'll go through the list of what everybody's hodl position is, and getting 2,000, you're going to see how high up the list they are. That would be a big deal, and they definitely clearly shifted, switched gears. They had a big hodl in January, and I do think they're going to target 2,000. And I also have been saying for quite some time, I think once the halving occurs, at least for the next 6 months, maybe the next 12 months, it is going to be difficult for the vast majority of the Bitcoin miners to add any significant amount to their hodl position. You know, maybe they can add 20 or 30 coins a month to their hodl position, but the days of being able to add 200 or 300 or 500 coins to their hodl in a month, once the halving occurs, there's only maybe 2 or 3 companies that stand a chance at that. Nobody else has the exahash. Nobody else is even going to be mining that many Bitcoin in a month for a period of time after the halving. And I would just say, well, I know what our next poll is because I won't say it. We'll ask you guys what you think.
So, Tom, that is a really good question. And everybody's saying this. They feel kind of that we're going to go straight up. But here's the good question. Wouldn't these guys not have to buy, like not have an influx of cash coming in? I mean, wasn't today like one of the best days, or yesterday, wasn't it one of the best days ever? I think you said since the halving. I mean, since the ETF started.
You're saying, well, let's take a look at that chart. You're talking about the inflows for the spot ETFs. Yeah, the spot ETFs are on fire. Let me go to that chart. This was through February 13th, which is yesterday. Yesterday, the inflows were $631 million. The only day better since these started was the very first day. So the first day was the best day, right? Because we went from no spot ETFs to, the floodgates opened. $655 million of inflows on January 11th. Yesterday was $631 million. So that was almost the same as the day this started. And beyond that, the last 4 days, 631 million, 493 million, 541 million, and 405 million. The last 4 days are 4 of the 6 best days of the entire run for the spot ETFs. So this is what I'm saying. These things aren't going to lose momentum. They're gaining momentum. We haven't even begun to have the big money move into these spot ETFs. You will see yesterday it was BlackRock. The majority of this was BlackRock, $493 million. Fidelity, $163 million. If you look at these, so Fidelity as of yesterday had just under $4 billion of assets in their ETF. BlackRock has over $5 billion. Bitwise was just under $1 billion. ARK Invest was over $1 billion. These 4 seem to be pulling away. So, if there's going to be 4 winners, it would seem clear that it's going to be these 4. Some of these others may pick up momentum. We'll see what happens over time. But the other thing worth noting that we talked about, right out of the box, they scared us with Grayscale. And you can see, not so much the first day, but the second day, just about $500 million of outflow. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, really the next 7 days, all plus or minus, $500 million, $640 million on January 22nd. So this was this period of time right here where Bitcoin dropped 20%. And people were looking at this. I mean, we were having daily net outflows 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So, people were starting to wonder, oh boy, Grayscale had, 620,000 Bitcoin. Did we just open the floodgates? Are we going to, instead of this being a big big push on the demand for Bitcoin. Did we just open the floodgates for the supply of Bitcoin? Well, it did not turn out that way. Yes, there was a pent-up demand. Remember, the Grayscale Trust is years and years old. So there was a giant pent-up demand of people that wanted their money out. They did not want to take it out at the discount that it was trading, which got very close to 50%, less than a year ago. So once this turned into an ETF, everybody could get their money out at no discount. And the people that wanted to get their money out did so in the first couple of weeks. Now, that doesn't mean this is going to go to zero. I do expect, you'll see, yesterday was 72 million. The day before, 95 million, 51, 100 million. This is very manageable. Inside of all of those days, we still had $400 to $600 million net inflows in total. So I've been saying, I think these all in, I think the Bitcoin ETFs will hit $100 billion of value. And when they do, that's not just going to add $100 billion to the market cap of Bitcoin. The supply that they're going to take in doing so, right? Because as money goes into these, they need to buy, the point of a spot ETF is they're buying the underlying asset. So these Bitcoin are going in. And, I am under the assumption, I believe that these spot ETFs will just continue to grow for years and years. Now, the rate at which they're going to grow at some point, I think we're going to have, a year or two where these grow a lot in this next bull market as people, all the rest of the investment world starts to adopt. There's still, for instance, Vanguard has $8 trillion. They don't even offer these yet. So there's an awful lot of big money that it hasn't even unlocked the keys to this yet. So these are going to grow. Now, ultimately, eventually, the rate at which they grow will decelerate quite a bit, but those Bitcoin will all be off the market, and they're really not coming back. So, this is just another, we talked about this in the months earlier. We did a lot of polls. Is this going to be the biggest catalyst for Bitcoin ever? And every single time, the consensus was yes, and I think we're starting to see it play out this way.
Interesting. You just are worried that there's going to be a little bit of a pullback, nothing major.
I think we're going to have at some point, we're going to have one of our natural 20% pullbacks in Bitcoin. And I'm going to zoom out and show you. In the last bull market, we had a lot of 30% pullbacks. We had 50% pullbacks. That feels like a nightmare. You guys, for those of you who were around, which is probably a bunch of you, that feels like a disaster. But it's a part of, now, I suspect, and I could be wrong, and I was wrong in the last cycle, I suspect now with these ETFs and players like BlackRock and Fidelity, I think the buying pressure, I don't think we're going to have 50%, 70% corrections, in the equity markets and we've had some of those, but, we label them and remember them forever. When we have a 50% pullback in the equities, we say things like the Great Recession, those are, we don't even have those once in a decade. Those are very rare. And I think you're going to see the cryptocurrency world and Bitcoin first before the rest mature. I think by the end of this cycle, the maturation process of Bitcoin will have greatly increased. And, let's say by the end of this cycle, BlackRock has, I'm just going to use a number. Let's say they have $50 billion of their customers' monies, their clients' money invested in Bitcoin. And by the way, that is a tiny, insignificant, right? They have somewhere around $9 trillion under management. So the concept that they might have $50 or $100 billion invested in Bitcoin amongst their clients is not unreasonable. That's a tiny fraction of their total, that they're investing. So I don't think they're going to want their people to suffer through 50 or 70 or 85% pullbacks on an investment like this. I think there'll be enough buying pressure from big money But don't get me wrong. The big cryptocurrency is volatile. I don't think that's going away. I think it will remain more volatile than the equity markets in general for many more years to come. I just think that the volatility won't be like it was in the past. Maybe the next crypto winter we pull back 45 or 50%, not 75 or 80 or 85%. That's still a gigantic pullback, but it's a little bit more palatable if once every 4 years there's one correction and it's 45 or 50%. Time will tell. What do you guys, let's do a poll. What do you think the next crypto winner, let's assume there's a next crypto winner. You want me to do this poll, George?
Sure, why not? Because I think you're crazy to do it. Why are you bringing negativity into this, man? Got to keep it positive.
I'm not being negative. In fact, my point is the opposite. I think the next crypto winner will be the smallest one ever.
I mean, when do you think that's going to happen? Crypto, I mean, that's like a year away from now, right? Maybe
should
a
be
year and a half.
Yeah, it should be more than a year and a half away. So,
I did not know that.
We don't know, right? We're assuming that this cycle will act like previous cycles, and while that has been the case over time, we don't know for a fact that that's going to be what happens this time.
Nobody's selling after hours right now, guys. They think it's going up too. I'm trying to sneak some out. Trying to sneak a few shares out of these people, but no one's selling. No one's selling.
Nobody's selling. You can't get it. You can't get your hands on anything.
I bought 2,000 marathon at 29.30. Nobody's selling. Nobody.
Give me 1 second to type. I'm not as fast at typing as George is, but I'm almost done with this.
No, I think we're going up, Tom, because anytime we go past the line of support, it always seems to be it's just like an indicator we're going to break it again. Heimel!
I agree. I'm on the same page. All right, let's do this. I know it's very early to talk about the next crypto winner, but the point of my question is, I think while Bitcoin's going to remain volatile, I think the volatility is going to notch down from where it's been in the past. And I think that trend will continue with each 4-year cycle. Ultimately, I think 3 cycles from now, this is all going to start acting more like the equity markets, more like maybe the NASDAQ, which is more volatile by far than the S&P 500. But by then, I expect Bitcoin to be at, gigantic numbers. We can talk about that as well. But, it's going to be many, well, I won't say it will be. In my opinion, it will be many multiples larger. So, Bitcoin between, I'm just going to throw numbers out there. If Bitcoin's between 500,000 and $1 million, I think your volatility, now you've got a market cap in Bitcoin like gold. Gold's one of the least volatile assets that you will find anywhere. Gold is a true store of value. So people that put their money in gold aren't looking to make giant returns. And they haven't made giant returns. Gold, even though it's at or near its all-time high, it's marginally higher than it was a year ago or 2 years ago or 3 years ago. So you don't get those moves. It's a very mature asset. So I think at some point, Bitcoin will catch up to gold in market cap. Now, I'm not saying that's in the next 4-year cycle. We could be 7 years away from that, 12 years away from that. I don't know. But at that point, that's when I think it will reach the fruition of its true purpose, which is, a store of value, digital gold. And more and more,
go
ahead, George.
Less than 30% is what the next drop's going to be at the winter. And I'm not talking about the winter. It's too warm out.
George don't want to talk about
Dennis,
crypto
remember,
winter.
I was pushing the price of Bitcoin. You guys have me to thank for this. And Heimel, I got out of Cleanspark right around 1260, 1230, something like that. And I'm regretting it now, but it is what it is.
Yeah, You can't regret it too much. You've been killing it the last 2 weeks.
I know,
This is one of,
guys. It's been like these. Just so you know, these are so rare. It's not even funny. This is such a rarity that you can make money in the market every single day. I know you can lose money in the market every single day because guess what? That's what we do
well,
most of the time. But when you win, you gotta go all in, and you gotta have convictions that your underlying thing that you're purchasing is worth more than Snapchat at 18 freaking billion dollars. Did you know that, Tom?
I did not know that.
Snapchat, because we're looking at different data companies as we're thinking about taking our data company public, and you start looking at these numbers. I mean, like, why is Facebook worth more than Amazon? All they have is freaking data.
I know Facebook and the run Facebook has taken, Meta. It bottomed out, it crashed, and the run, I missed that whole run. And I had no conviction in that stock. But you know what? Guess what? Everybody who did got rewarded big time. Edmund's
Tom,
saying,
you were worried.
oh, go ahead.
No, you were worried about a few stocks, like Wolf, for an example. If the price wasn't high enough, around 60,000 at the halving, that they'd have some problem with their debt. Are you still worried about them?
Let's take a look at TerraWolf.
Which they were a very nice play today. Thank you so much.
So TerraWolf's market cap is back to just under $600 million. So I will tell you guys, for the longest period of time, when TerraWolf was down, close to a third of this market cap, when they were, and they had $140 million in debt at that time, and maybe a $250 million market cap, I was concerned. I thought, unless something changed, that was a situation. Let's just say that. Not necessarily that they were going to go out of business, but it wasn't a company that looked to me like something that I would want to put my money in. But I did talk about with the big run up, and let's go to TerraWolf's chart.
Just, after 11 minutes from now, it will be 5 o'clock, and that's when I expect Bitcoin to start pumping again, FYI.
We have a prediction.
I'm just calling it now, 11 minutes.
So if we look at TerraWolf, right, even just in November, this stock was at 92 cents. It's at $2.46 now. So if you go from the bottom until today, there's a 175% run up. It's still nowhere near where it was on this instance, December 28th, 255% run up. So if you look at, and this is where I was talking about it, in this whole area right here, there were times their market cap and their debt were very close to the same number. That was very concerning to me, but you can see that ship, I believe, has sailed. So, and I said, even at these times, I said, I like what TerraWolf is doing. They've got a lot of good stuff going on, but this debt thing, if something doesn't change, it's a potential deal breaker. Well, guess what? Something did change. Their market cap, their stock price. So now, at just under $600 million, you can, if need be, the first thing is they said they were going to cash flow enough to pay $40 million of this debt off. So that takes you from $140 million down to $100 million. That's a big chunk of it gone. If you do some equity to cut that in half, now your stock dilution, you do $50 million of stock dilution at $500 million market cap, that's only 10%. If you have to do $100 million of stock dilution at a $200 million market cap, that's, 50%. So they're in a totally different situation right now. I feel much better about this company. I am not invested in this company, but I have a different outlook on them. So, yeah, I don't think this is not a company. For members only, I did a list of 6 companies that I was worried and still am worried about surviving through the halving. This was not on that list. Bitcoin's coming back. 51.
You heard what I said.
We're getting close to the 5 o'clock pump. For those of you who have not, if you would be so kind as to smash the like button, it does help the stream out in real time. It makes a big difference. I also want to just take a moment and thank everybody for all of the likes that we have been getting. It's made a huge difference on the channel. It's helped the videos out a lot. It's helped the live streams out a lot. So thank you for that. Also, while I'm at it, we are pushing for 20,000 subscribers. So if you have not yet subscribed, if you enjoy Bitcoin, the Bitcoin miners, our live streams, our deep dives, consider subscribing to the channel and tell a friend. Spread the word. We're knocking on the door of 20,000 subscribers. So it's been a nice little push. We're still a very small channel, but I think we have a fantastic community. So, I want to thank all of you guys who are continuously here, whether you're members or subscribers or just, regular viewers. We got a great crowd. So
I think the reason we came on was we wanted to wish everybody a happy Valentine's Day.
That's right. Absolutely. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. Happy and it doesn't hurt here on Valentine's Day that Bitcoin is up, just under 5% on the day today. And the Bitcoin miners ran. Let me go. I have a chart that should be in real time here. Let me see if I can find this because the market is now closed.
I'm still trading, Tom.
Are you kidding me? You're still trading. Give me
I'm
30
just peeling
seconds.
off- I'm just peeling off a little bit here and there. Nothing crazy, just a little bit.
I just accidentally closed the window I wanted to go to. So if you guys give me 30
Accidentally,
seconds.
maliciously, on purpose. Look at that. Bitcoin is only down 1.01% right now, guys. So I got 6 minutes to see if I was right or wrong. After 5 o'clock, I figure it's more like, I don't know if that guy's been drinking or not yet.
Yeah, you got
it. Can you believe it's one guy that goes and buys all these shares, these Bitcoins for shares?
Oh, we got one. BlackRock's got one guy sitting at the desk, and he does the.
He buys them all at once. He's like, look it, dude, I need to go drinking. I'm going to put down this order of 100 Bitcoin. Click, 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 click. Boom.
Happened
Did you
to my
see?
chart.
Somebody did a story about how much money they've made so far with the amount of Bitcoins they have.
And
I thought that's insane how much money they've made.
How much was it?
Well, I'm going to leave that open for everybody to take a guess. I mean, let's put it this way. It's like 3 days old, and it was already just almost it was $500 million, which is probably nothing for them.
Oh, here's my chart. $500 million.
Thank you guys for watching. Which is, who cares about $500 million, right?
I do.
Oh, how do you become a member? You just hit join below the video. It should say Talking Investing, and then there should be a little video that says join. If you're subscribed, it still says join. We're thinking about you know what? We should vote on that, Tom. To do another level of membership.
Yeah. See if anybody's interested. All right, so let me move this over so you guys can see this thing. Oh, is that too far? And okay, so I just want to show you guys what kind of week we've had this week. As of Friday, so I update these charts every Friday. So if you watch my weekend update, you'll see all these charts and many more. And we talk about whatever else was important going on during the week. But as of Friday, Bitcoin year to date. So this was year to date. Bitcoin was up 13%. You can see what I'm saying. CleanSpark has been running away from the field. As of Friday, they were up 26% year to date. That's double CleanSpark. Only Marathon was in the green, up 2%. DMG was at 0. All the rest of the Bitcoin miners were in the red year to date. Some of these pretty deep in the red, 27 to 37%. Well, So this was as of Friday. So we're now, what's today? Wednesday? Okay, so fast forward 3 trading days, and it now looks like this. All of these stocks went green. So again, just to look at these, everything was red. Marathon was up 2%. CleanSpark was up 26%. Everything else was red. 3 trading days later, you've got, and now these are the wrong color. This is Bitcoin up 23%. Marathon's now ahead of Bitcoin. It was up 2%. It's up 25%. Bitfarms up 20%. So a lot of people, this is another thing. And I find myself having the same feelings. We've talked about this on different live streams. People that own Bitfarms always seem to feel like it's lagging. It's dramatically lagging the field. Why is it so stagnant? And I think it's a psychological thing because their price is low. The moves in real dollars are small, but in percentages, you'll see like Bitfarms, only CleanSpark and Marathon are doing better than Bitfarms so far in the year 2024. Bitfarms is now up 20%. Iris up 16%. Riot up 14%. DMG 13%. Wolf has gone green on the year. You've got a few that are getting close. So this chart is turning around. And I'm just going to go to... So if I go... This was last year. So just to remind everybody, by the end of the year last year, despite the fact that in the middle of this streak, we had 14 weeks where the Bitcoin miners were moving in the wrong direction. They were all down 30, 40, 50, 60%. This was from kind of the middle of August to the middle of October. So a lot of people were in a buy high, sell low situation because that was a long period of time. But if they had just held on, this is what the Bitcoin miners ended up doing in the year 2023. So here we sit now in the year 2024, and you'll see just over the last 3 days, all of a sudden, we're starting to get everything going green again. Now, I don't know if it's off to the races from here or if we'll have some more pullbacks. My point is, over time, over the last, year plus, it's been a spectacular year for the Bitcoin miners. Now, everybody has a different strategy. George has been trading in and out of these and doing very well. But my other point to this is CleanSpark's up 60, as of the end of the day today, CleanSpark's up 62% on the year this year. And it's not like if we go back to last year, you'll see it was up 441% last year. So it's not like it was a big lagging stock last year. It's just having a monster run compared to the rest of the field. So the other thing is, if we look at the chart, CleanSpark's done a few things that no other Bitcoin miner has done. So if we go to CleanSpark's chart, and now they just added another one to the list.
Tom, can you make my face a little smaller, my little thing, so that everybody can see who those are?
Over here? Where?
Never mind. You're already on to the chart. I'm just looking at the stream.
Oh,
Never mind.
yeah, sorry. I had those.
You can't see that.
King Hazy, thank you very much for the super chat. Tom, were you surprised to see Bitcoin still affected by CPI report? PPI comes out Friday. King Hazy, the answer to that is yes. I really was surprised. And it was a knee-jerk reaction. And I think we did, I don't know if it was a members only stream that night. I said, I think this will reverse itself immediately. I was surprised. I said, I'm pretty dismissive about CPI right now because I do think we're first of all, it was a tiny miss. I know everybody's making a big deal about this, but if we go to CPI, it came in at 3.1, right? If we look, the expectation was 2.9. We came in at 3.1. Well, that 3.1, if we look, that's the second best we've ever had. And this chart doesn't go back far enough, but this was over 9% a few months before this. So, we've moved down into this range, 2.9, 3.1. Does anybody really believe these numbers are that accurate enough to even matter? And the previous month was 3.4. So it was a big drop off, but nobody cares about that. The market reacts to the consensus. So if we miss on versus the consensus of expectations, the market tanks. And the Russell was
All right.
down 4% yesterday. So, you know, the small cap, it's the risk on stuff. Everything was down 1 or 1.5%, all the indexes. The Russell got destroyed. Bitcoin pulled back, but by the end of the day, it had a big recovery. And now, of course, overnight, it ran to a new, 2+ year high. So I was surprised to see the pullback. I guess I shouldn't be surprised by, first of all, I shouldn't be surprised by anything anymore. We've seen almost everything imaginable happen. But second of all, I guess, people are worried. Here's what people are worried about. Forget the March meeting. It's now at 10% chance that we're going to get a rate cut in March. You might as well call this zero. That's not happening. But what did change was May. So these percentages, we've got 61% that think there's going to be no rate cut even in May. So that means they think that in the March and the May meeting, we're going to get 0 rate cuts. 61% of people. 1 month ago, that was 0. I'm going to scroll up. You'll have a hard time maybe seeing this, but this number right here, 1 month ago, the percentage that was built into the futures was a 0.0% that there would be no rate cuts by the end of the May meeting. So these bad CPI numbers, that's what has happened. It's given the Fed cover to maybe not start rate cuts for an extra couple of months. I think the rate cuts are coming one way or the other. So does the market, because if you go to December, you're going to see, this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3, 4, 5 is where the market's at right now on rate cuts this year. So they still think they're coming. They just think they're coming later rather than sooner. And if we keep getting bad inflation numbers, that could even get worse for all I know. We'll see. I think they're pretty locked into having to do rate cuts. So I expect to see 5 rate cuts. And they may not come at 5 different times. So 25 basis points at a time, that would be, 5 would be 1.25% reduction in the interest rates in 2024. I still think we're going to get that. I could be wrong. That's my opinion. That's what I think is going to happen this year. But that's why everybody freaks out. And while rates are high, so if they're not going to lower rates, then all the money in CDs, there's still $6 trillion sitting in money markets and CDs, and all of these risk-off assets that are giving you 5% type returns, people won't bail on that. So, for as long as they think interest rates are going to stay that high, there's no reason to move into higher risk things. But this will shift. Everything is cyclical. The market will not remain risk-off forever, in my opinion. We've never seen that happen. We're multiple years into a risk-off situation. And you can see Bitcoin, which has traded as a risk-on asset over its history, it's defying all of this. So it continues to run up despite the fact that, we're missing on CPI data. The market is pricing in, rate cuts not happening. None of that matters. The DXY, which we follow closely on this channel, I'm going to go to that right now because that's another one where, the DXY is very near, this green line is a 20-year high that goes back to, about 2002. Well, we've been going above and below this green line for about 18 months. So we're a year and a half into, 20-year highs for the strength of the dollar. The DXY is the strength of the dollar versus, a basket of foreign currencies. So this strong dollar is another, typically this is bad for all the equity markets, most assets, and the more risk assets are usually penalized in this type of environment. And you'll see through this big run up right here, we just had a big run back up, right? We pulled back, and I put some numbers on here. Back when we were up above this blue line, forget the green line, there's a blue line above that. Bitcoin was down at 37,000. We had a big pullback in the DXY. Bitcoin ran up over $5,000 to 42,000. But then the DXY ran up. So instead of running back down, Bitcoin ran right up with it, right? We went from 42,000 to now just under 52,000. So we're up over $9,500, $9,500 in Bitcoin, even though the DXY is moving in the wrong direction. So the price action in Bitcoin, and I attribute this, I think most people probably attribute this to the ETFs. This price action is incredibly strong.
I was just looking at a little pump here after 5.
Oh, this was, yeah, let's get back to the 15-minute. King Hazy said, and thank you for the super chat, King Hazy. And PPI Friday could be another great day to buy. So yeah, I took that day when the markets pulled back. That was one of the biggest buying days I've had in a long time. Was on was it Tuesday? Was that the day CPI? What's today? Is today only Wednesday?
Yeah, it's Wednesday.
Man. Yeah, I guess that was just yesterday. See, this is what I'm saying. So I bought a lot of things, and I'll just, this is totally off topic, but just so that you guys know, this is not financial advice in any way, shape, or form, but just to share with you something that I have been investing in and dollar cost averaging into pretty heavily. This is a ultra, the Russell 2000. I think there's a 2x leverage on the Russell 2000, which is the small cap. These are the small cap, high growth, risk on assets that have just been punished for a considerable period of time. And I think that the next, I don't know, every time we get a bad CPI number, it may push the run up in this off, but I think it's only delaying what I feel like is the inevitable. So obviously not financial advice, do your own due diligence, but I would put this on people's radar. If you want to put it on your watch list, if you think we're going to get back to a risk on environment, I'm going to pull up this chart.
Somebody sold me their Bitfarms. Ha ha, suckers.
Oh, I'm in stocks. I got to be in all. So I'll just show you this and then I'll leave it be. And again, I just maybe something to have on your watch list. Back in
Interesting.
November of 2021, this was simultaneous with the Bitcoin's all-time high. So this was our risk-on time frame. 2021, there was remember this gigantic pump. Look at the massive pump that this took. We had everything bottomed out. Everything crashed in March of 2020 for obvious reasons. But we had this giant recovery. This was almost a 1,000% move to the upside. And so, not that we're ever going to get back to these levels because I think this was a little bit crazy, but, that's a 200% move to the upside. Even if we got back here, that's a 80%. If there's things that are going to be 50, 80, 100% moves to the upside, maybe a 200% if it runs all the way back up, depending on how risk on we get. And, some of this might have been a bubble, so maybe we won't see these types of numbers again. But before March of 2000, even if we were just to get back to where we were before the world changed, that's a double. So, is it like the Bitcoin miners? Not everything's going to 5x or 10x or 20x. So, yeah, exactly. So, this is just something else I happen to be in. Just FYI for anybody that cares. Is anybody else in this? Drop in the chat. Is this something anybody's following?
What are you talking about, Tom?
That's not a bad question.
Did you see that? We're at $7,800 in the 10K challenge, up almost $1,000 today in it.
Wow.
So we're back to basically $8,000. So we're down like 22%. And we went all the way down to $1,600, $1,600. I did sell something today because it looks like the company was going out of business or something like that. Arrow? I think it was Arrow.
Oh, okay. That's okay. This is not financial advice.
It went down $150 and we only had 3.
Let's see what happened to Arrow today.
Was it today or? I think I lost Tom.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Guess I can't say Arrow. Tom has left the building.
I am here. Can you not hear me, George? Uh-oh. That's not good. Let me know in the comments if you guys can hear me or if the stream just... It said the stream is excellent health. Now we just lost George. Can you guys hear me? Drop in the comments if you can hear me. George just got disconnected from the stream. I'm not trying to be silent. I'm just waiting to see if anybody can hear me. Okay, so you guys can hear me. Maybe it was on George's end. He just dropped out of the stream. We'll see if he joins back in. It is Valentine's Day, so it's possible it's time for him to move on and do the next thing, which would be hopefully dinner with his wife. Good. All right. So everybody can hear me just fine. So George was talking about the 10K challenge, which, dipped all the way down to $1,600. It's back to $7,800. So it's had a big, big, big run up over the last now 13 and a half months. It looks like George is coming back. George, you are back.
Sorry, I don't know what happened.
That's okay. It's been that kind of stream. Right.
So what were you going to say about Arrow?
This is such a nano cap stock that, oh, why am I not on that right page anymore? Let me go look at it. I stopped talking about this stock, even though I made a video on it a long, long time ago, but this stock's down 99%. For the most part, when a stock is down 99%, that means they're going out of business. So obviously that rule is not true 100% of the time, but it's a pretty good clue. If your stock is down over 99%, something is seriously wrong. Having said that, I am actually, and please do your own due diligence, this is an unbelievably high risk play. This is now an $8 million market cap. They just got their first government contract. This is an electric vehicle, last mile delivery, EV. It's for moving around campuses and that kind of stuff. And that doesn't mean necessarily, a college or university, big corporate campuses, that kind of stuff, government facilities. So they just got their first order. This has been years. They went through 2 or 3 products that ultimately, they didn't say so, but it seems to me like the products just didn't work. But I do finally think they're onto something here. And so if, this is, again, ultra high risk play. This is coming from somebody who's heavily invested in Bitcoin miners. So, those are high risk plays. And I'm saying this is even much higher risk. But this is something that I'm going to be building out a position in.
So you want me to buy them back?
No, I'm not saying that.
They went down more than when I sold them, so.
Yeah, I'm not saying buy them back. I wouldn't, in the 10K challenge, I wouldn't necessarily have this. I would make a few changes in there.
$250.
Yeah, $250, go all in. I know what I would buy if it was me.
$214, what would you buy? Since What are you gonna buy, Tommy?
So I'll tell everybody another thing that I've been buying. And
we
you're
go.
going to see a little bit of a pattern.
Are they EVs?
Nope. Nope. BitX is a Bitcoin. This is a Bitcoin ETF. It's a futures ETF. It is not one of the spot ETFs that just got approved. But this is a 2x leverage on Bitcoin. So you will see. I like these leveraged ETFs, right? For things that I'm bullish on long term, like the Russell. I'm very bullish on the Russell for the next 3 years. So if I like it 1x, I like it even better 2x. And the same thing is true for Bitcoin. So because we already have several Bitcoin miners in the challenge, you know, this would be even getting more Bitcoin heavy, but this is less, even though it's a leverage, you know, it's a 2x leverage, it will be less volatile than the Bitcoin miners. And it will be, you know, this will move 2x versus Bitcoin on a daily basis. So, you know, if you think if you think Bitcoin's going to, you know, 100,000, that's a double from here. If you think by the end of the cycle it's going to 100,000, that's a triple from here. Well, this BitX is going to give you double that action, but be careful because it's going to give you double the action to the downside as well. So on red days, this is a brutal thing to hold. So, you know, just obviously, I always have to say this is not financial advice. I'm not recommending anybody else buy this. You got to have the stomach for these leveraged plays. And, you know, you might think I have everything in leverage, but I hold a lot of regular stocks too. So, but I do like certain of these things that I have conviction in over the next longer, you know, for Bitcoin, the next 18 months in particular, for the Russell, the next 3 years, I think. So, you know, I like that double, that leverage. I don't have to dip into, this is versus, you know, dipping into your margin or that kind of stuff. Those are things I don't, you know, I like that a lot less than taking the leveraged play. As long as you got the stomach to ride out the highs and the lows. And as always, you got an entrance and exit strategy. Hello, Sean, if you're still there.
So here's what we're in now: Cleanspark, Bitfarms, Hut, bets. And the only
you
one
entered us in bets.
The only one that we're getting destroyed on is one thing, and you want to know what that is?
What?
Hut. So we haven't touched this in 2 years, guys. Hut is down 41% still. Those pieces of dog doo-doo. They've let me down. The best gainer, again, not touching it in 2 years, Cleanspark is up 262%. Not touching it in 2 years. That's insane.
And that's the roller coaster, so that was beautiful.
So that went up from, wow. It's at 4,462. I think that went down to like $600, maybe $700.
Kay, I'm going to have to ask tech support to do that for the next stream. If I start messing with, yes, that's a good case. Can you make the windows smaller so we can see the charts? So I will try to have the next screen, maybe get this moved around a little so everything's a little easier to see. Or, you know, in the meantime, I'll do this so you can see the important part of the charts. But these windows are all set, and I am not the tech person. And if I touch something, it's going to go wrong. And it only gets worse when I start getting involved on the tech side of things.
They asked me what I covered calls, Kevin. I feel your pain, Kevin. I've been there, brother. I have been there. Let's look at Bitcoin and wrap it up, if you don't mind.
You got it. All right, Bitcoin's at $51,732.
So it did go up from my 5 o'clock, by the way.
We're getting we got our 5 o'clock move to the upside. We'll see overnight. I've got this purple line just under $52,000. I forgot I drew this line a year and a half ago, and I haven't thought about it since. But we traced this back. This goes back to 3 different times this was resistance in December of 2021. So that was a long time ago, and we've never been anywhere near it since then. So we blew past the previous, we'll go to the 1 day, we blew past this line. We've been waiting 2 years to get past this green line at just over 48,000. That was only 2 days ago, and now we're testing the next line. So let's see if we can keep running. George and I have been talking about maybe a run up to 55,000. That's what we're looking for. That's what we're hoping for. George, any parting thoughts?
No, except that I would imagine that Bitcoin's going to sneak above that line tonight. It's going to be our Valentine's surprise.
Our Valentine's Day present, a move above 52,000. George and I have been talking about 55,000. We'll see what happens. Of course,
I'm saying 2 things. 1, know when you're getting out. I'm not saying to get out. Just know when you guys are getting out. Make your exit strategy known. And 2, just like it's not a loss until you sell it, it's not a profit until you sell it. Those are my only bits of advices. Last one is not your keys, not your coins.
yes.
We haven't talked about that a long time. If we want to see Bitcoin absolutely go insane, if we could get everybody to get them off the exchange, and I understand there's issues with that, and we talked about it, about like, you know, what happens if you die or you get ran over by a bus or you're flying into Naples, your plane crashes.
Oh boy. It's too soon.
Dude, I know what happened now too.
West K is asking, another stream tomorrow if Bitcoin goes up?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, yeah, if Bitcoin goes off, I mean, if it's up $300, but if it runs again tomorrow, then we'll gladly see you here again tomorrow. For those of you who are interested.
Look at that. A great point by Mr. Faulkner.
Yes.
Part of the family. But I got to sneak out of here. I'm going to get shot. I'll see you guys.
All right, George, have a great night. I'm going to wrap it up as well. PPI on Friday. I just don't know what to expect. You know, we had a green day on CPI. We'll see what happens on PPI, or sorry, a red day, a brutal red day. If that happens, the only thing I will say is on all these government data points, on the days the Fed comes out and speaks, if we have a big dip, I almost always use that as a buy the dip opportunity for the things that I've been looking to dollar cost average into. So that'll be my strategy if that's what happened. Darren saying, FYI, Monday is a holiday, no trading. Thanks for the reminder, Darren. And so again, if we run tomorrow, we'll be back. Otherwise, we do our regular live stream every Friday after the market closes. Thank you so much, everybody. Hopefully we'll see you either tomorrow or Friday. Have a happy Valentine's Day. And thanks again. Don't forget to smash the like button and subscribe. Thanks so much. Have a fantastic night.